Yay!
Yay!
Great show.
Gonna navigate.
Well, there's an Alice. There's signs of Alice Howe there.
Yeah, well, there's Alice and Tom Prasada-Rao. It was such a great show. Thank you for
Hi, Alice.
that.
Let's see. Bill, hi H and Ted, hi Carolyn.
Oh, there's H. H, I didn't recognize you with your hat on.
Let me turn this up. Make sure I can hear you guys.
Maybe you should bring that up.
I know, I'm gonna have to. Good idea. Hey, you guys, take it outside, okay? We're zooming. Thank
We'll
you
give
so
you a
much.
couple days. We're doing a show in the Howe tomorrow night.
Hey, Ted, tell Freebo he's got to wrap it up.
Hey, Freebo.
Wrap it up.
Always holds stuff up, doesn't he?
Hey, Freebo, noises off stage.
Hey, well, again, thank you very much for the show. What we're going to do here is we're going to ask a few questions. I'm going to open it up with a couple, and then after that, you guys feel free to chime in. If you know, be very quiet because everybody can hear all the noise, and I should, you know, that any kind of noise around you. If for some reason I hear some background noise, I might mute you. I don't want you to get offended, but anyway, I guess I'll start.
Hey, Susie, before you get started, just want to say a couple of things. Thank you so much for the show tonight. I really wish we were there. Tom, you were awesome. We hope you can come back soon and do a full show. Freebo and Alice, you know, you're always welcome there.
Thank you.
We keep missing you though.
I know.
Yeah, well, you're such a baseball freak.
Hey, look at, they've got their hats and everything. Couple of champions.
We're actually leaving in a few minutes to go see the Seattle Mariners up here in Seattle.
Sweet.
Awesome.
H, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I got muted, I think.
Did you
No, I
enjoy
didn't
baseball
see
as
you.
much as Ted does?
She does.
Oh, awesome.
Absolutely.
H, how many stadiums have you seen so far? I know you're-
Tonight will be the 21st, and then Saturday in Kansas City will be 22.
So but I loved the concert tonight. It was just spectacular.
Thank you.
And Tom, can you move in? When can you move in?
Just say the word. I'm not too far away. Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Well, this was my first time seeing them and I thought they were terrific.
That's awesome.
So thanks. I'm Ted's sister for
Hi,
you
Ted.
that don't know me.
That's
Yeah.
Ted's sister.
There you go.
So anyhow, I just wanted to interrupt for a second because we're going to head out in about 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Got to get those ballpark franks for dinner
Oh, yeah.
and some
Good.
Cracker Jack and everything. But Susie, thank you so much. Susie, for those of you that don't know, is the Wizard of Oz. She's behind the curtain. She does everything all the time for us at the house. I mean, she's one of our biggest supporters, and just all from the goodness of her heart. She constantly gives and gives and gives, and we love her so much. So thank you, Susie. You're just awesome.
Well, I think you're awesome too. I love you guys, and thank you for all you do. But anyway,
And Freebo, thank you for "I Love My Dog," one of my favorite songs. All right, let's turn it over to everybody.
All right.
Thanks,
Great
H.
time,
Thanks,
you
H.
guys. Great to
Enjoy
see
the
you.
rest of your baseball tour.
And we'll look forward to seeing this recording. I can't wait to see it. So
Yeah.
thanks, Susie, for recording it.
yeah, I'll have it recorded. I'll have it posted on our Music for Good site. You guys can come have a look at it.
Great.
Okay, so I'll just get started with a couple questions. I guess for the artists, I'd like to know for all of you, some of the musical influences in your life that have really, really had an impact on you.
Yes.
Musical influences
All right.
in your life that have had an impact on you. Here you go.
Me, musical influences, Ludwig van Beethoven, Igor Stravinsky, Leonard Bernstein. You're just bragging, man.
I know, he's like
Rogers and
bringing it way
Hammerstein,
back.
Little Richard, Chuck Berry, Joni Mitchell, Bob Dylan, Jimi Hendrix, Tom Prasada-Rao, and Alice. And Bonnie Raitt, of course.
Right. Yeah. Well, you people might think he was joking with the classical parts, but I know for a fact he really does like classical music.
Yes, Freebo does.
I
In
love
fact,
classical
I
music.
can tell you that he brought a full box set of Stravinsky CDs on our road trip in my car right now.
No kidding. Yeah, kind of heady stuff, but it's really cool.
Yeah.
How about you, Alice?
Well, I agree with several of the names you mentioned. I grew up listening to a lot of just classic 60s folk revival kind of stuff, like Joan Baez. My mom played a lot of her and other folk singers like Dylan and Dave Van Ronk and, you know, Carl Sandburg and all kinds of, you know, old school folk singers. And then I love 70s California singer-songwriters like Jackson Brown and I love Bonnie and Joni and James Taylor and
James.
yep, yeah, you didn't mention James.
didn't
I love
mention
Tracy
James.
Chapman. I always loved her voice growing up, and yeah, and I love blues. I love Taj Mahal, Muddy Waters, Mississippi John Hurt, stuff like that. So, no?
Muddy. I can give you just a few. There's one that I've come to regard as the greatest singer of all time. And that's Louis Armstrong. Oh, yes.
Of
And,
course.
there's this album he did with Oscar Peterson, Louis Meets Oscar.
Mhm.
And it's incredible. It's just, I can't get over how he makes these songs that you've heard a million times before, how he makes them real and you just want to hear them again.
Mm.
And Stevie Wonder, of
Oh,
course, when I
gosh.
was growing up. And one of my all-time songwriting heroes is this Canadian guy named Bruce Cockburn.
Oh, yeah.
It's just,
He is so good.
but I can tell you that there's somebody here on the Zoom who I've come to regard as so instrumental in my life and such a shining example of how to deal with life's adversity. You know, since my cancer, I've developed this tremor in my left hand, and you might have seen it on the live stream. And I don't really have a lot of strength there. And Bill, I think about you every day, man, when I'm playing. Bill Nash. Bill's just made it an art for him, you know, just dealing with that mess. And
Yeah, well, thanks, Tom. It's been 32 years with MS, almost 33 now, and if it wasn't for MS, I wouldn't know you, for one thing. I probably wouldn't have never gotten involved in what I got involved in, because I had to work on these digits, and it's always been a wonderful thing to be able to help people. And if you know, I got a phone call from Carrie the other day because she hurt her shoulder doing her little bike thing she's been doing.
right, yeah.
And she just started asking people about what she can do, and I said, honey, don't you remember sitting with me at Camp Nashville at Kerrville and let me show people how to play with 3 capos and 4 capos, one finger?
Right.
So I'm going to work with her a little bit, hopefully in this near future.
Oh, good. I hope you do.
But thank you for your praise. I always love you, and I always love singing with you.
Me too, Bill. You would have been a beautiful addition tonight.
Oh, I love the 3 parts. They came out really good tonight.
Thank you. Hey, Bill, it's great to see you, man. I didn't recognize you. I mean, I couldn't quite see the name down there. Seeing who is that over there in the corner? But it's great to see you. And I was trying to tell Tom that, you know, with his left-hand challenge, I said, well, I know Bill does 3 capos. I do 2 a lot, but a lot of times you can use 1 and 2 fingers. So just trying to encourage him to do that. He's such a musical guy. He'll pick it up in a heartbeat.
If you get also involved in altered tunings more, one capo can turn the whole guitar around.
Yeah.
I love that.
Nice to see you, Bill.
Good to see you too, Alice. Yeah, you sounded lovely tonight, all 3 of you.
Oh, thanks.
You know, I have to follow up with that question I just asked with a question I know that Ted would ask if he was here, and that is, what is your favorite Beatles album?
Favorite Beatles album.
Well, they're
I mean,
all
I'm
good.
assuming that you like the Beatles. To come here, you almost have to.
I can't pick one, man. How do you pick one?
Sorry.
Maybe
Yeah, I could pick three off the top of my head.
let's talk about
Revolver,
why.
Revolver.
Top
Soul,
three.
Yeah.
and Sgt. Pepper.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That works. That goes.
I actually don't. I can't say that I know which albums the songs that I love. the
Oh,
most.
Was
yeah.
there one
I
called?
hate to say.
Was there one called Yesterday, Today, and
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
something like that? I love the songs on that.
Yeah, a lot of great songs on that. I mean, and you talk about songwriting. By the way, Tom, going back to Louis Armstrong, one of my favorite records is called Satch Plays Fat.
Oh yeah.
Wow,
It's all
It's
Fat,
so
Fats
good.
Waller
that's
songs.
Waller too.
Oh.
And it's Louis Armstrong singing them, but sometimes with Thelma Middleton.
Oh my
on
God.
harmonies.
All
But
that meat and no
no
potatoes.
Just
Pretty
ain't
red,
It's
like green tomatoes.
It's
You
just,
turn me on.
I mean, I know Trummy Young was a trombone player, and I know every one of his solos, and it's like such great between Louis on the trumpet and the trombone, the clarinet, and all the interplay. I mean, it's just Dixieland as good as it gets. And his singing, like you say, is just off the charts. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. I'll have to check out that record. I never heard that before.
Yeah, it's
With
so
Oscar
great.
Peterson.
It's Oscar's trio, I think, with Louis.
Wow.
Yeah.
Was it Ray Brown on bass?
I think so.
Oh,
Yeah.
can't wait to hear that. Can't hear you, Susie.
Oh, you're muted.
I'm muted because I know I'll start laughing and it's just too loud. Okay, I actually, Alice, when you were talking about the NERFA
Yeah.
conference, were you at Freebo? I was at that conference. I remember roaming around on a Thursday night and looking in the room. I said, "Who is that singing?" I really like I was going around checking people out, and sure enough, it was Alice Howe. I sat in.
Oh.
First time I saw you, sat in one of the the gorilla showcases. It was really
Yeah.
really
Oh,
nice.
cool.
But I heard that you and that Freebo then invited you to make a record. Obviously, you guys since that time have been touring together, and I guess I'm kind of curious as to from a partnership standpoint. Did you decide you all have a certain chemistry? What was it about you? Like, was your musical style meshed well? Was it your voices? It seems like you're really, kind of been partnering for a while now. So I'm kind of curious how that all
Yeah.
came out, really.
Yeah, so I met Freebo at NERFA, and I was just getting ready to release my first EP, and which I had recorded just with myself and guitars, pretty stripped down folk EP. And Freebo listened to it. We just happened to meet like you do at those conferences, bumped into each other, and I was like, "Who's this guy with this weird name? That's interesting." And so he listened to my EP. He really liked it, but he said, if you ever want to do a full band record, I'm your guy. I'd be happy to help you put that together. So that was very intriguing. And I had never been to LA, so I was really excited to fly out there and just kind of see where it went. I didn't have plans for a new album at that point, so it just kind of fell into my lap. And we had a great time making my record and just kind of learned each other's songs while I was out there doing some of the preparation for recording. And so I had always wanted to play with some more accompaniment. I think for me, it was pretty perfect that Freebo wanted to play bass with me. I was like, yes, you can do that. And then sort of by chance, just through that, I learned harmony on his songs. I love to sing harmony. We both were in a cappella groups in college and loved singing harmony. So it just kind of naturally evolved, like very organically, and just turned into a situation where Freebo supported me, really helped me build an audience by bringing me to many of his shows. And now I feel like we get to help each other out a lot. And now we're working on my next record. So yeah, it's just kind of been a great partnership, I think, for both of us. So
Yeah, and for me, it was such a natural thing. I mean, when I heard Alice and the beautiful voice, like I said, I could hear certain things that I wanted to do arrangement wise and maybe take it to the next level. And at one point, we were just, I don't know what we were doing. We were putting something together for one of the songs on the break. She was just singing some blues. And I said, what's that? She said, oh, it's a Muddy Waters song. Do you like Muddy Waters? I said, yeah. I said, well, she likes it. Taj Mahal. She mentioned these people. I thought, well, you don't do any of that stuff. And she said, well, I can't really play it on guitar. So, well, we got to figure out some way to make that happen because you sing it great and you feel it. So that's been part of what we've done is take her beautiful folkishness and expand it.
I have never heard that word.
I've never used it before. Just made it up. I make up a lot of words stuff. So
Songwriting.
to take that folk sensibility and blend it with the blues sensibility, and she's got some beautiful Celtic riffs and a little bit of country, and it's just got a really interesting hybrid of styles. And so for me, it's been good to kind of help shepherd her into some other musical arenas and be able to get to the point of, some of the stuff that's new record is pretty rocking, but also some really, really beautiful lilting stuff. And then as far as our playing together, I mean, it was a natural thing for me to play bass with her. And here I am going back between 40 and 50 years playing bass with another guitar player who has red hair. So it
That's scary.
It was pretty natural. It was kind of a deja vu for me. And I said, wow, I really enjoy doing this. So it's just kind of evolved.
It's kind of neat how there's conferences. Even that little I shouldn't say little conference, it's pretty big, but in comparison to the big Folk Alliance conference, you can really have some real connections and meet people, and it's not just about getting jobs.
No, it's true. I've met so many amazing artists there. Just between that and Kerrville, we were talking about, and other festivals, Falcon Ridge, where Tom is playing in a couple weeks next weekend,
July 31st.
Is it next?
No,
Yeah,
the weekend after.
Weekend after this.
Anyway, yeah, just such. That's what I love about the folk world. It's just such a community, and we all kind of know each other and move in the same circles. It's great.
Well, I have one more question, and then I'm going to shut up and let somebody else ask. Tom, I've known you and your songwriting for a while now, and I was just kind of wondering. And you played a bunch of different instruments. I'm kind of wondering at what age or what event what event happened where you said, man, I got to write songs and I got to play music? Was there any kind of pivotal point, or was there anything that really, drove you to do that?
I can't remember the whole songwriting thing. I can tell you the musical thing that made me feel like I could do music. My dad, when I was young, when I was about 6 or 7, my parents forced me to start playing violin, and I hated it.
Yeah.
But my dad had this little group of Indian guys that he would play Indian music with. My dad played the tablas, the Indian drums, and one of my uncles played the harmonium. Another one played, I forget what he played. But they were rehearsing in our living room, and I was supposed to be practicing violin.
Huh.
But I just basically started playing along to whatever they were playing in the other room. And my dad's friends said, do you listen? Can you hear what your son's doing? He's playing along.
That's great.
And so they asked me to play along with them for real, like at gigs they were doing.
Wow.
So I was like 7 or 8, and that was like one of the first times I thought, wow, this is fun. I didn't think that that I should be a musician or anything, but I thought, wow, I like doing this. This is fun. I want to do it more. That was a part of my musical awakening, I think.
What would you have been if you hadn't been a musician? What do you think?
I don't know. Every Indian boy's supposed to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yeah.
So is every Jewish boy.
But I'd have made a lousy doctor, so I'd probably been out on the street. I could have been a good street vendor, maybe, maybe getting like a food truck or something.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
The Indian food truck.
Yeah.
I can see that. the singing street vendor.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Freebo and Alice. Obviously, a lot of what's happened in the last 15 months has been because of COVID and all that. But I know everybody that's been on Zoom and been doing shows online. It's been a lifesaver for a lot of them, and it's also just for me. It's funny because I don't really try to make a living at this, but what I love to do is perform. And because of COVID, I probably put 2 or 3 hours a day on a guitar, and just normal day for me. And then when I get to play, it's like this amazing thing. I'm not going to stop this when this all goes under, and I know everybody's going to go back to going to people. But how do you guys feel about? You're still going to do it a little bit, I think, aren't you?
How much streaming, Bill?
Yeah.
Good question. I mean, honestly, I think we got a little burned out on it.
Oh,
Yeah.
me too.
Because I mean, it takes a lot of effort to get together technically, and Alice was doing 90% of that. And we also had a radio station pick up our show. And so we had to focus on that first hour for radio, and sometimes we had to edit them. And then we couldn't talk about our sponsor, and we couldn't ask for donations. And it just seemed like the week got shorter and shorter, and it kept creeping up. And we go, oh God, we got to do this again. And I think we probably got burned out on it to the point where it's like, especially now, like doing some of this live stuff, it's like, oh, thank God we can go back and play for real people. But on the other hand, there's something that's very special about it, and you learn how to do kind of a TV show when you're looking into the camera, just like TV, and you know there's people out there, and you have to keep it going. You know, and so we've got a little bit of that Regis and Kathy Lee thing kind of going on.
Definitely.
Well, and a couple of the girls, one of the girls that was here in the audience live just came up to me and said, do you guys, like, have you made your show into a podcast? And I was like, oh, you know, we kind of talked about that, but we never really got around to it because I just didn't want to do the editing part of it. I just got burnt out, to dovetail on what Freebo said on the technical side of it, because I had to learn so much for it to be possible to do, and like so much equipment. And then like I bought a bunch of stuff, and I just, like, on the one hand, it was totally a savior. And I think by the time we ended the show, I felt really ready to just like, it feels a little bit like it's taking you out of the present and the real world. And I really wanted to focus on recording my album and just writing again, and kind of like I had time to write, plenty of time to write, but to get back to performing and recording and kind of doing those things that feel very immediate to me, whereas this felt a little more like, I mean, it's virtual, it's virtual reality, I guess it feels that way. But to answer your question, I think we'll probably incorporate some of it, you know, moving forward. I think I just needed a break. I needed to cleanse my palate. I'll come back to it in some form for sure.
You got a little burned out on it too, right?
Oh man, yeah, terribly burned out on it. I just never want to see my laptop again.
I hear you. I get like a little bit of anxiety just thinking about like, oh God, you know, opening it up. I'm like, I just want to leave it across the room. There are days where I just don't even want to pick up my phone, and I don't. And I think that's healthy, you know, get a balance. But yeah.
How about you, Bill? You've been doing a lot of that. You say you play guitar like 3 hours a day. I wish I was doing that.
I know, man. I'm like, that's very good.
This also has something to do with being retired, disabled, retired. So I don't have to go to a job, so it does make a big difference. But I can say I do a show for myself every month, and I have been doing 1 or 2 shows from Camp Nashville Song Circle shows, which Tom has done. You guys, I haven't got you involved in it yet, but we have.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful to do that because what I got is 10 or 11 songwriters in the round. We go for about 3.5 hours. It's kind of like being at Kerrville under my canopy at Camp Nashville. And it's been a blessing, and not to mention we've taken donations and given the foundation, the Kerrville Folk Festival Foundation about almost $2,000 in the last 4 months. So it's that part of it I really love. Sometimes I used to do just Facebook Live, and it was a lot harder to get into that because you were only seeing words go by on your screen. You couldn't really talk to anybody. And in Zoom, you could do this, or you could play a song and then somebody could ask you a question. And geez, that's to me, that's what the circles are all about at Kerrville. So I love it. I'm going to continue to do it. But then again, I'm disabled and I can't really get out to perform anywhere very much. It's something, it's hard to do.
So, let me ask you this. Do you find that when you did do broadcasts, that you were reaching a wider audience? I had heard that from a lot of artists, that not only were they reaching the audience in the room, but also you have a potential global audience by doing it.
Yeah, no, totally. And I'm excited to do shows at venues where they have like a nice camera setup. I think I'm less interested in like bringing the equipment myself. I think it's hard when there was an audience here. It's kind of hard to split your attention.
Yeah, that was hard to do.
Like I want to give the attention to the people who are here in a way. So, but I don't want to discount the people who are on the screen. So I look forward to like Freebo and I are playing at the Mucky Duck in Houston in September, and I've been told that they have like a really nice professional camera setup. So like we don't have to do that part, and they can just like totally take care of it. That I think is going to be the best situation where the venues, can share it out and sell some more tickets online, because I do think it is really good for us to be able to reach more people. So
yeah, I was going to say that, especially with COVID just ending and audiences aren't coming back to full capacity, then you can supplement the live audience with the.
But what's also been nice is we've done a couple shows. I think we did one in Lawrence, Kansas, and one in St. Louis. I think there were 2 or 3 different shows we did coming across country where people said, wow, really enjoy your shows and the streaming things you've been doing, which is kind of interesting because there are people who got exposed. And these are not people who've never heard us before, who actually came out to see us live because they've seen the stream. So there, I mean, don't get us wrong. I mean, we're grateful for the opportunity. Really, let's say the challenge came into an opportunity, and that came into be a blessing. We just got a little tired of after a while, but it's been really good for us, and we really appreciate it.
Well, does anybody else have any questions for the artists? We have a few more minutes, but I could think that I probably took up a lot of time.
Bob Zwick, we're looking forward to seeing you on Saturday afternoon or early evening, late afternoon.
I hope it's not actually
Yeah,
snowing.
look forward to it. I think it's going to melt by the time you get here. Yeah.
It'll be great to see you, Bob.
Yeah, love you
You
back.
got good weather.
Hi, Carolyn. Nice to see you.
In a while.
I wanted to say something about you guys doing the shows. For us patrons of your music, all of you, it was a lifesaver during COVID because we couldn't get out to see local groups. We couldn't get out to do those things. And in addition to that, we got to see you in a personal way, which people never get to do with artists. It's just not possible. And because of that, I see all of you and your guests as, not just these stars that are out there that make music that we listen to, but as real people.
Right.
With feelings and things that you love and things that give you anxiety and bring you joy.
Yeah.
And that was a real pleasure.
That's so cool.
Thank you, Carol.
Thanks for saying
Know
that.
all of you that way. And Tom, I want to say, maybe you're not a doctor, but you heal people with your music like doctors never can.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely.
It's touching. Very touching. So I just wanted to say that about you guys. I'm hooked.
Thank you, Carol. But, by the way, Carol, you should know that I was supposed to be a doctor too, but
So was I.
I didn't do very well in calculus, chemistry, or physics in the first year of pre-med, so that put a stop to that.
Well, okay, and I'm glad you're playing music then, because it's much more healing.
Well, and I've been told that. I've been told that a lot of people said exactly what you just said to Tom. Said, you know, you really are. I mean, you're healing people with your music, and you know, I feel that way, and it really is a blessing. And believe me, I'm just very, very like Tom's song. Thank you. I'm just so
Oh,
grateful for that. Really,
absolutely.
gift
That's
and
one
being
of the
able to
best.
give other people.
And I want to thank all of you very much, because it's been very healing. And with my ears now, and I still get very teary-eyed over this, I get to hear you better. I get to really feel right down to the core. And that's amazing to me. Just
Thank you.
amazing. And you've been part of that process for me. So
Thank you.
Thank you so
it'll
much.
hold a real soft spot in my heart.
Thank you. Well, and just getting back to the streaming thing and touring, David, it was great to see you in Chicago, to where after all the times, you know, you being on these Zooms and being at our streaming concerts, and then you show up and there you are.
Are you in Chicago?
Isn't he? David, where are you?
Are you looking for David and Lenny?
What am I thinking of? It's in Chicago.
I don't know.
No.
Joe.
Oh, Joe. Never mind.
I think I was like, David.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure David is in Vermont, but I'm
Oh,
like,
David. I see. Yeah, you look like this guy in Chicago, but never mind.
Okay, well, does anybody have anything else?
It's a small screen.
Well, I'd like to say I'm looking forward to seeing Tom and the other Fox Run guys in Falcon Ridge in Goshen, Connecticut, of all places.
Man, I can't
And I
wait.
hope,
yay.
yeah, and I don't know how you guys are going to do on a free form improv in front of all of those people. That's got to be fun.
We've had to cut down our repertoire in order to play in public. So,
But there's too many children. You have a late night show going also?
Not that I know of, but something could materialize.
Very good.
Of course, Eric could do it by himself.
Good.
Yeah, really.
And Alex and Freebo, I hope to see you sometime in Vermont. Maybe you could stop by for lunch on your way to Beacon.
Well, we have 2 shows in Vermont. Are they too far north for you?
There's 3 shows.
Well, you're going to go from, I guess, Moortown and Stowe, where you
We
stay.
got Stowe, we got
down to
Waterbury.
Beacon. But you'll be going down to Beacon, and you'll have to go right by me.
Yeah, we also have a show in Otis, Mass, or Great Barrington. So anyway, we'll hope to see you on the road.
You know, Freebo.
I can fix lunch for you if you like.
That's a
What's
deal.
that?
Fix lunch.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, well, does
I was gonna-
anybody else, we kind of need to wrap it up here. Does anybody
Yeah.
else have any
I just
questions?
wanted to say thank you to Freebo and Alice for bringing Leland Sklar back into my existence.
Oh,
That was
Wasn't
so wonderful.
Isn't he amazing?
I loved it. It was so great.
He's such a doll.
Yeah, he's really quite the human being, and not a bad bass player either.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Oh man.
He's
Yeah.
got a few skills.
That
Yeah.
is my favorite thing about all the streaming shows is that I got to meet all these amazing people. I never would have met
Absolutely.
Tom in the same way. I never would have met
Chris Smither.
Leland. I'm like such a huge Chris Smither fan now and never knew his music before. Like, you know, I listen to him all the time. You know, it's just so special to know these people, and thank you, Freebo, for introducing me. But it just gave me a chance to like be a real person to them too. And they got to know my music, and you know, so it's that's my favorite part of it for sure. Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining in, and I hope you enjoyed
everybody.
I hope you enjoyed the show and the green room, and I hope you can come back next week on the 30th of July for Lost Text Maniacs. And it should be another great show. And anyway, thank you, Freebo, Tom, Alice. You guys are great. Thanks for hanging out. Really appreciate it. And have a good night, everybody.
Peace.
you.
Peace.
Rob, we'll see you on Saturday, and David, we will not see you in Chicago.
And bring Tom with you.
We'll try.
Good to see you, Bill.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.